All right, so in an effort to get my normal, subscribers who typically do comics and stuff to get on board with this movement that is King and Ashra, and if you're on the manga side, King on Omega, definitely hop on board. And the way I'll reward you is simple. When you comment down below, comment your favorite character from King and Ashra and tell me why they are your favorite character. I will select one of you randomly based on like which answers I like best, reasoning, all that, and you'll get free membership. So definitely comment down below, get involved in the series. You can just look up King on Ashra free manga online. Very simple. Look into it. I definitely encourage it. It's a fire manga. But today I'm going to be answering a question that apparently is very relevant in the subreddit Kingon community. Shout out to them. I'm going to be joining them soon in an effort to see what's going on there. I love this series. And I might, spread out in other platforms. So, we're looking into that. But definitely shout out to them for talking about an amazing topic, which is what if Hatsumi had fought Gaolang and Kengan Ashura during the tournament? I'm going to review what both are capable of in part one, which is King and Ashura. And then I'll give you my take of who I believe wins. I hope you guys enjoy this. And without further ado, let's begin the discussion. First off, we're going to talk about Hatsumi. Hatsumi is best known for being one of the best defensive-minded fighters in the verse, with one of the weirdest and scariest offensive repertoires to back it up, as well as known as a bit of a slacker. So his character is first introduced when he meets the main character Oma. Oma, of course, at this point starts brawling with him in the office. Hatsumi casually avoids him. Even transformed Oma had difficulty even getting close to touching a memeing Hatsumi. Hatsumi is revealed to have been a potential Fang candidate for a long time. The Fang title in the Kengan verse is for one of the most elite fighters in the world that represents one of the most famous brands in the world for fighting. And this title would have been his, but he quit the training halfway through because he didn't really care about it. He is a world-class fighter, but he is lazy and would rather just be an elite fighter than actually try to prove it every single time, all the time. Still, with his basically god form Steven Seagal Aikido, if you don't know who Steven Seagal is, definitely look him up. Goated actor, one of the funniest liars in real life. But anyways, Hatsumi is stupidly hard to touch. And when I mean stupidly, I mean end of series Oma. While going nearly as fast as he possibly could not even touch a warming up casual Hatsumi. The reasoning for this is a near peak tournament ending Hatsumi had gotten so fast and so precise with his defensive movements that it almost looked like to the untrained and naked eye that he wasn't moving at all. He literally is so good at angles and judging strikes and incoming angles of strikes that he can move precisely to where he barely has to move, and it's almost impossible to hit him. Oma was literally like, yo, I'm gonna have to go all out in speed to even get close to touching you. And Hatsumi was like, thanks, now I'm warmed up. He did fight Fang, and although he did lose, Fang wasn't willing to try to copy his style. Fang, against a lot of characters, will literally try to beat them or at least start the fight using that same style against them. Wasn't even willing to do this against Hatsumi. Hatsumi has a reputation that's well deserved. And he's also, before Fang did so, was the only character to beat White Tiger, who beat Julius, whose punches literally can shake the arena. So overall, Hatsumi is one of the most dangerous fighters in the verse. And he's also, in terms of being a defensive-minded genius and a defensive technician, specializes in bone-breaking approaches and techniques. He showed this against Bando when he shattered his arm. And I think he's one of the most slept on in the verse because he's, portrayed as lazy and laid back. He's actually very lethal, and I think he's one of the most dangerous you can run into in the tournament. Moving on, we have my boy Gaolang. Gaolang, one of the dopest arts in the manga, in my opinion. I just think the way he's drawn and his character is dope. He is an elite boxer, renowned around the world as being one of the best boxers and the fastest jabber in the world. He has the fastest recorded jab for boxers on the planet, and even among world champions in other styles like judo, aikido, he's typically regarded as the best, if not the best, in terms of accolades and career for his specific field. His jab was capable of casually tagging characters with precog. They literally have foresight of the battle and how it's going to play out. He's still able to overwhelm this with sheer speed. He oftentimes hides the speed of his true punches, and he does so with things like weights and just typically holding back. And this, when engaging Fang, who eventually did defeat him, Fang did try to box with him, but he got boxed up, son. He was getting folded in terms of actual boxing skill, and eventually it turned into a different style match, which I would like to get into. So Gaolang has more in the bag than just his main style, right? His boxing. He has his own blend of Muay Thai and boxing that's stated to almost basically surpass both. It's a furious blend of both that emphasizes his speed and power, and it makes him dangerous too, because Gaolang has shown in the manga that he can throw almost full power, perfect power, from unnatural, off-balance angles, which is absurd. Having no footing, no leverage, he's still throwing straight power shots. And Fang didn't like the way he fought against Gaolang. He felt like he fought poorly. And that he didn't even really deserve credit for the win. It was just that Gaolang broke his hand trying to strike the elbow. Fang broke it, and he got horrified after that, because as a boxer, you don't want to break your hands. And this petrified Gaolang, and is why he got walked down and defeated. But overall, Gaolang was one of the most dangerous and formidable clouded up fighters in part 1. A world-class boxer and one of the most lethal strikers we've ever seen in Kengan. So, if these two monsters of the Kengan tournament met instead of taking the routes they initially took, which led them both to losing to Fang, who would win? So this is fascinating to compare on 2 points, that being the Fang battles. Fang dominated Hatsumi more than he dominated Gaolang. However, Fang was willing to try and copy the technique and best the technique of Gaolang versus Gaolang in boxing, right? He was willing to box with Gaolang. Fang wasn't even willing to do that with Hatsumi. He was not willing to try and copy the Aikido. He was like, hell no. That's... I want no part of that. And like I said, his defensive movements are absurd, and I do believe he can evade Gaolang. My reasoning for this is Gaolang had gone blow to blow with Saw before, and we know that just based on end of series near absolute peak speed, Oma easily scales to Kyurei Ryan, who can casually catch the lightning timer assassin. Or at least, he's called the Lightning Assassin and stuff like that. He casually catches him, and we know based on him dodging Oma, who's tagged Kyurei Ryan before, Hatsumi casually scales to this, if not above. So he would easily scale to Gaolang. Not to mention, you look at Akubo, who casually was tagging Fang and ragdolling him. Akubo fought Cosmo to prep him in speed. Cosmo was easily getting tagged by Oma. Oma couldn't tag Hatsumi. So, just with speed, Hatsumi has plenty to put him at least on par in striking speed and reaction time with Gaolang, which is what he needs. And Gaolang has way more power, at least in my opinion, although Hatsumi is kind of slept on because he's stolen some of Fang's techniques that gives him some offensive power. But still, Gaolang's the better power striker. What comes down to this, I believe, is we've seen Hatsumi utilize a bone-breaking style. This is going to be horrifying for Gaolang to potentially have to deal with. And being a boxer, I definitely see Hatsumi being like, okay, let me try to take away his arms and hands. That's going to be the main issue. So because of his reaction speed, defensive tactics, his feats are just as impressive, if not more. The Fang fight is interesting, but like I said, he wasn't even willing to try it with Hatsumi, copying styles, but he was with Gaolang. That's why I believe the fights came out a little different. But in the end, because of his bone-breaking techniques that he's shown he will try to attempt to use, his speed and reaction speed, I believe Hatsumi has what it takes to defeat Gaolang and Kengan Ashura if they had met in the tournament, mid to high difficulty. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this discussion video of the potential what-if battle between these two. Let me know if you disagree. Again, shout out to the subreddit for discussing this and for gaining my attention on it. If you like this type of content, please hit the like button and share it so it does more views, gets more likes, and it makes it easier for me to do it. But anyways, it's been your boy YFV, and I will see y'all later. Peace.